I'm detecting a lady. I'm seeing a lady. This lady looks like she's sitting down in a chair ready to have a chat with me. Like I've got a story that we're going to share, and she looks like she's getting down in a comfy chair with kind of wings on it. Like, let's converse and share the story. And she seems like she's giving me queen vibes, but in like sitting in the wing chair about to have a chat. So um that's interesting. Let me just concentrate on her a little bit more and see why I'm seeing it like that. So I'm really seeing her, for some reason, seeing her jumper. Um, and I'm being drawn to a couple of dogs by her feet. I still haven't been able to shift her out of that kind of the chair, how I'm seeing that. So unless I'm moving forward with the wrong person, it's like to
The chair makes sense to me.
okay. The chair's a little bit bigger than her. So the size of the chair, I'm almost getting Alice in Wonderland vibes where the chair's quite large for some reason. And it's a little bit luxe as well. So kind of got like a bit of velvet and studs and a little bit ornate, and the little bit of wooden ornateness and the kind of the scroll at the end of the arm. And we've heard this more than once, but I'm hearing it's like a fascinating story.
It is a very fascinating story.
But I am getting her now like a black and white image of her, a lady with dark hair, quite set, and still kind of a bobbed shortness to it, but it's quite dark. She looks fairly trim but quite sensible, like she's wearing heels, but they're quite a sensible height. Like she has to be a little bit demure in her dress, kind of higher collar. She's not it's not Hollywood fashionista, kind of giving off Jackie Onassis kind of vibes, that kind of dress. She's a little bit less glamorous than Jackie Onassis. She's got a more stable, sturdy uh energy. She's quite sensible. She doesn't mix her words. Um, what she says with a bit of authority. She's quite an authoritative person.
Yes.
And I'm actually hearing Master of Her Own Universe. I was just hearing Mickey Mouse as well. So whether it was a Mickey Mouse situation, I'm not sure. Let me go back to her. And she's saying that she was well to do, is just the words that I'm hearing. And that even as a child, she could get up on her soapbox. It was a trait, but she was quite thoughtful as well. She's saying it's almost like she had quite a normal childhood, but she had dreams, ambitions. So it's like she's showing me she's in her own head and she's got ideas for the future. And I get the sense that they're not aligned with what perhaps other people would think for her, or perhaps like kind of norm of society, that her ideas are a little bit more outlandish, I'm getting. She thinks a little bit differently.
Yes.
And I'm also getting the sense that she kept that, there's reasons why she kept that largely to herself, because she was a little bit different. And so these ideas that she had from quite a young age.
Yes, I can verify that she did.
Okay. And she was quite uh, determined. So I'm getting a sense that she really had her eye on what it was that she was trying to achieve. And she didn't really sway from that very much. And she also didn't allow outside influences to have very much impact on her life either. Um, she feels like very direct and so sure of herself from quite a young age. It feels quite remarkable just that she was on her own path. I feel like I'm seeing like stars and almost like three wise men or a wise man. And what I'm gathering from that is she actually had strong intuition and she would follow it.
Mm.
So she had strong trust. So she was close to her mother.
Yes.
Um, Her mother just kind of supported her, and she felt that she could be what it was that she was going to be or be herself. And her mother was just a really great support structure. Um, Her mother's love and support really assisted her in the end to be what it was that she was going to be or do what she was going to do. I don't feel like the father had so much of an influence. It doesn't feel like he was so much in the picture, but the mother was very influential just in her support.
Yes, that
And
makes sense.
okay. So I get a sense she was the oldest and she had a younger sister.
Yes, she did.
She's quite she's quite a serious soul. Just kind of getting her as she's walking along, just quite serious and quite determined and quite come along to her little sister. Like she had this sense of responsibility as well over her younger sister. And she was just a very thoughtful person.
So her sister, she did have a sister, and her sister was younger than she was.
Like she was an observer as well. So when people communicated, like she would just observe people's behaviors, what it is they were actually trying to say. She had a good awareness of like behavioral science or um, the psyche of people, or yeah, she just innately seemed to know people and their motives. Um, and that really helped her. So she could see through situations and scenarios and people, which really helped her. Now she had a fateful day as well, similar to the last person I brought through, because I'm getting a fateful day.
Yes.
So I'm asking just a little bit about her life, and I'm seeing that it wasn't extraordinary when she was younger. Um, she's just showing me some kind of walking on the pavement, wearing a long woolen kind of coat.
That makes sense for where they were living. Yes.
Okay. It does feel quite European, um, like Poland, or I don't know, I just got the word Poland.
It's not Poland, but it is Eastern European. Yeah.
Okay.
So she actually grew up in the Arctic.
Right. Gee, well, that's quite extraordinary. Not unextraordinary.
She described herself as a army brat because her father was part of the Russian, the Soviet army.
Right.
So that's why she grew up on that base in the Arctic.
Okay. And maybe why she's observing, feel like she's observing so many adults. And it doesn't feel like she's got so many children around her. So that might explain that as well. There's her and her sister, and then she seems to have quite a bit to do with interaction. with other adults, but it's her mum that's her guiding force. I just see her becoming a little bit more carefree in her nature, a little bit laughing, and for all accounts reasonably attractive, or how I'm seeing is that she's feeling quite attractive in any case, the way she's laughing.
She's very, very beautiful.
And just quite a big smile on her face, and I can see that she's attractive to the opposite sex, and she is aware of that. I'm getting something about a move.
Yes.
Which was quite, there was quite, well, I'm hearing the word drastic, so I'm just going to say it was a big move. And it was a disruption in her life. And it was hard on her mother.
Yes.
And it was a move that was quite isolating.
Yes. I imagine it would have been. Yes.
And around that, I'm getting the sense that there's like tension, family tension, because of the situation. And she showed me that this is a period of time where she is doing quite a bit of writing.
Yes.
I feel like she's quite isolated. I don't know if it's the stage of her life, but she seems to be in her room. She's doing quite a bit of writing. She's isolating herself more from kind of people around her, and from her, even from her family. She's kind of taking herself away a little bit more. Well, there is a gentleman on her mind. She's met someone.
Yes.
Mm.
So he was the cause of the move.
Because she's daydreaming about him. She's not seeing him, and she's writing to him. And
She was writing for a profession as well at
oh,
that time.
okay.
So she could very well have been doing work when you see her writing there.
Mm.
But there was a love interest at that time, and
Yeah.
that love interest led to her big move.
Right. Well, she's not very happy. So it's a little bit arctic in the relations in her home, around that move. And I get that she's pining for this relationship or this interest that she has, and she's dreaming about it, and she's very romantic about it, and this is the reason for her blossoming femininity at that stage. So she's taken that quite hard, and she's isolated herself even from her family. So she her father, blames her father for that move. And that's led her to being more internal, and it also has created a profound, I'll say, improvement in the work that she's producing. I get that. So I'm seeing a book. It's almost that during this period of time, she's written a book.
Yeah, okay.
Like that's what's been produced from this. And what I'm getting about that is first attempt.
So she did have a degree in international journalism.
Interesting that she's showing me her being so isolated. And maybe that was how she was feeling, because I would imagine, as being an investigative journalist, you would actually be doing quite a bit of communicating.
She was working on documentary films in Eastern Europe.
Right. Interesting. So I haven't seen anything about that. She's showing me very isolated behaviors at the moment. So whether she was writing and producing that and feeling quite isolated personally, I'm not sure. Let's see if we could get some more. So I'm seeing like military or army activity, like marching, big groups of um like army kind of frog marching, the big legs going
Yes. Yeah.
like in the kind of grey uniforms, very formal.
Would you like to see a photograph of her?
Don't
Looks a bit
recognize.
like you, Michelle, just with the hair,
Right.
short
Yeah,
blonde hair.
so that's interesting because and so she moved to the US, right? Because I'm getting US.
Yes, she
Yeah.
did. Her
Yeah.
husband was American, and she moved to the US for him, with her mother and sister staying in the Ukraine.
This was a lonely time for her when she moved.
I imagine
Mm,
English would have been a second language,
mm.
and she only knew her husband.
Yeah, she was isolated, and this is where I feel like this is where her writing became quite profound. Um, and that's what she was showing me, but that would make sense as to why she was isolating from her family. It was because of the move.
You want to ask her around her career?
She she traveled to different places.
She did,
Yeah.
yes.
Let's see if I can get a name for her. It might help if I can call in her name. So like Mila.
It's not Mila.
Can you give me her first name? I just want to call her in a bit closer.
I don't want to give you
Okay.
her first name.
Okay. Don't. It's okay if it's going to be um a giveaway. Oh gosh, she's quite delightful.
She's lovely, isn't she? She
Mhm.
has beautiful energy.
Yeah. She's quite light in the way she deals with people.
From all accounts, she was very well liked.
So what I'm seeing in the US, she's showing me, I feel like she's showing me a home. It's like a white double story, just nice kind of suburban home, lawn at the front. Things that she did settle into her life in the US. I'm getting a sense that her death was like a traumatic death. Um, Sudden and unexpected.
Yes,
And she's kind of like showed me like a grenade kind of exploding as if it was a traumatic a traumatic.
that's really interesting. She showed you a grenade exploding.
Right.
She didn't die. Her cause of death wasn't due to a grenade.
I felt like she was showing me it was traumatic.
It
Um,
was. It was very traumatic.
yeah. And was she only aged 35? Around 35
She was close. She was 42.
or 42? Gee.
Be really open to anything because this is a really bizarre story.
Okay.
So if anything comes through and you go, that's my head, tell me what it is
Okay. I'll
because
go
it's
to
quite possibly not.
Okay. So she had two children,
She had one son.
one son. Um, but she had a really lovely time with him. She really enjoyed being a mum. Mm.
There's certainly photographs of her being an excellent mum.
Mm. I just like she just showed me him pushing him on the swing, just laughing, really enjoying that and feeling kind of more fulfilled. So I am getting that she was good at her profession. So she was good at what she did. And she wasn't in the US when she died, right?
She was in the US.
She was in the US. I was asking her if she was or wasn't. I got an airplane. It's like, okay, so you weren't. Like, okay.
She wasn't at home.
Yeah. Was it a plane flight?
She wasn't on a plane flight, but
But a plane flight away from her
she
home or
would
not?
she would have been a plane flight away from her home, yes. And this ties back into before when you said that she traveled a lot.
Well, I'm just going to tell you what I'm seeing. Somewhere quite kind of dry and
Very
uh,
dry, very vast.
mhm.
You're in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh, okay. And I am seeing like there's someone with binoculars.
Yes. In
Um,
fact, I think I saw pictures of her with binoculars, but yes, there are people getting around with binoculars in this location.
right. And there's some activity that is going on that they're kind of keeping an eye on.
Yes.
She's shot in the back of the head.
She was shot.
Mm,
I don't know the exact location that she was shot, but she
mm,
was shot.
it was very quick.
Yes.
I'm not even sure if she was aware at all. Don't even know if there was even an awareness. It seems if there was, it was just split second before um, her life ended. So it was all quick and painless, is what I'm hearing. It was like it was a total surprise though. It was did not
Huge
expect that.
surprise.
Yeah, it was like if there was an awareness of that, it was just split before it happened. It was just like it happened when how did that happen?
Enormous.
So she's showing me one gentleman, just one.
Yes, um there was a gentleman.
He's kind of middle-aged. I wouldn't say he's trim. Um, he's got a cap on. How I'm seeing him. A little bit of a tummy. He's he's not young. He's
Yes,
not old. I'm hearing it was an accident though. It wasn't meant for her. It wasn't meant to happen.
that's correct.
Um, he was unaware.
Correct.
Either he's trying to point it at someone else or kind of waving it around and um,
That's all correct.
right, and it fires.
Yes.
And she's maybe shoulder or close to here somewhere.
It struck her in the chest, passed through her body, and struck someone else in the shoulder.
Right. Well, she it's not aware. It was completely unaware. It's almost like she's looking
What's she
at,
doing?
yeah, looking at him, but there's no,
She is looking at him. Is she going to show you why she was looking at him?
um, well, I was seeing the binoculars, but it's like a reel, like
Yes.
um, this is like it's a Western movie or something.
Yes.
You're kidding.
You got it. It's a Western movie.
That's not Alex Baldwin.
It
Oh,
is.
I was seeing him like, it wasn't showing me that he was trim either. It was funny. It's like he's not trim.
Well,
He's
I
got
did
like
get the giggles when you
got
said he
like
had a bit of
he's
a
got like
tummy.
a waist and a gut, and he's not young, he's not old, he's somewhere in the middle. And I couldn't see his head or what his head looked like, but I could see his body. Like he's kind of goes around a little bit around his torso. So
Yes.
that's so funny.
So she
He
was
was
a
showing
cinematographer.
cinematographer.
And
Right.
so her job is literally to watch the
Yeah.
scene.
I was getting like her
And
watching
that's how
him
she
through
showed it to you.
binoculars.
Yeah.
And
And he's
right,
as acting, he's pulled the gun out and whatever he needed to do. I think he just needed to pull it out
right.
and it's gone off.
So she's showing me two types of bullet. And I think it's one that's kind of got a sharper end and it's kind of a brassy, and then one that's more rounded, blunted. Like, here's your blank, here's your real bullet. So she just showed me that. Carelessness. She's saying carelessness,
Yes.
literally getting the words. She's saying horrible accident, but it was an accident.
Yes.
Um, why was there even live rounds anywhere near the set? It's like it was never double checked.
Yes.
Um, the it was like it didn't even get removed in the first place. So it was supposed to have been checked in blank, and it was never removed in the first place. So it was like it didn't, let alone double checked. It was like it didn't even get checked somehow or rather.
So the two IC and the armorist were supposed to check all of the weapons on the set, and they both admitted to not checking the weapon.
She's just shown me that the bullet was sitting in the chamber, and it was never got taken out, never got replaced, was never checked.
Gosh.
That's how she's showing that. No, what was her name?
Her name is Halyna Hutchins.
Halyna. Okay. She's showing me that the shock, there was a really massive impact on what was his name again? Alec Baldwin. She's showing me that, and I'm feeling it in my body, that actually it had a massive detrimental effect to him and his
Imagine.
psyche. Absolutely shocking throughout. Like I'm just feeling it through my entire body, just that shock through him. So she's saying that he was an inadvertent kind of victim of that situation as well. And it's actually interesting to know, because you may know this or not, but it's like it's caused him to reassess and pull back from what he's been doing.
Potentially.
Yeah, he's looked at things a lot differently. And I was getting the feeling when she was showing me that gentleman standing there, as there was a certain arrogance, like casual arrogance about him. And I was thinking, God, he's just going to arrogantly shoot her. Kind of like in this casual arrogance. So she said it's had a really good effect on him, and that there's been that arrogance. It's almost like it's helped dissipate it, because anything can happen at any time. So that's interesting, because she's showing me it's actually had an improvement in his nature because of the incident. So that's according to him. And I feel like he's getting the impression from her that he's really enjoying his family life a lot more. It's like he was a little bit aloof from it before, and now he's actually really enjoying it. And it could be just the power of a life, an awareness around that, or awareness around, death, or something shook him anyway. So he's looked at things a little bit differently.
Our mortality.
Yeah.
Well, he definitely has a strong family life because he's married with 7 children.
Yeah, he's got that yoga wife, right? The one that does all those poses with her legs over.
Oh,
There's all these ripples with things, right? But there's been a ripple in the industry with checks, security, safety. And then I can see like the big ripple in
yeah, so I
Alex's
think California changed its
family.
laws around this. So there are some minimum requirements now for the armorist, because I think the issue was that the armorist was quite young. I think she was about 23. She was the daughter of a well-known actor who was from Westerns himself. And
Right.
so she was using guns, or learned to
Right.
use guns from a young age. And it was her job as the armorist to come in every day, check the weapons, check all the weapons, clean all the weapons, check them in and check them out, make sure they're not left unattended and these sorts of things. But obviously, due to budget restraints and time, she was the only person on this set, and she was running around doing everything. And for whatever reason, she was also in charge of bringing the bringing the bullets and the weapons onto set. And for whatever reason, she brought live bullets. And they did actually check all the they checked all the bullets after the incident, and there were other live rounds on the
Yeah.
set as well.
Yeah. And I'm just getting, it's pertaining to her and her life, like messaging. Oh, around the entire firearms, the approach of the US to firearms in general is just so absolutely too casual. It's not just in that instance, but it's actually as a nation, she's using the words disgraceful use of firearms, and almost like oblivion and turning a blind eye to a very lethal weapon in one moment. And, you know, one moment everything's fine and the next everything's changed. It shouldn't be able to be available in so many, you know, it's almost like America's got its own like internal warfares going on that people aren't acknowledging. And the use of firearms and the availability of firearms and the casual carrying and use of firearms is one of them. And she's just one of many victims per year in the US from unlawful use or misuse of firearm. It's almost like her sacrifice did shine a light on just that misuse